But at the end of the day, we're all putting our out there. It makes us feel slighted.
I cannot apologize for that.
Okay.
By now, if y'all don't know that Rose is going to keep it raw and uncut, we have a problem.
Am I surprised that they sent Rose home? I'm not. Because Rose was too good to be true. And I said this before when she brought in her ex that used to be her friend, that there is something that is hidden under the surface that we're not seeing. And seeing how she sort of lashed out at Cam towards the end tells you that she's not the prim and proper person she's been presenting herself to be. Do I think Sahara is a better alternative? No. She's a ticking, you know what I mean? And at the slightest provocation, Cam is going to get what he deserves, because he played stupid games and didn't focus on one person. And now his only other backup, Angie, seems to be number one for Hussein. So he's left by default with the only other connection that he had. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Ready to Love, Season 10, Episode 11. I'm sorry for the late upload. Hey, I was just feeling lazy. Anyway, the guys meet up in the vault. There's only 4 of them left, so they meet up in the vault with Tommy. You have Cisco, Jay, Hussein, and Cam. They're the final 4. So they meet up with Tommy, and they are told that you need to introduce your partners to, your current connections. And Cam, you need to make a choice, because Cam at the moment is the one with the highest number, because he has 3 connections. And I think Cam was relying more on empathy than anything else. I think he sees himself as protector. And so this is why he's in this protection mode and is just keeping people around that don't deserve to be kept around. First up, we have Jay and Kiara meet. She gets to meet his mom, his dad, his cousin, and his aunt, and they really seemed to love her. I think Kiara and Jay have a great connection. Do I think it's the best? No. I don't think there's any couple at the moment that I could say I see a future with them lasting a long time. I think they'll date after the show, but I don't know how long it will last unless they do a lot more work. So it comes out that Kiara is an only child. In her last relationship, it lasted 12 years, but then, after constant infidelity, she then, ended things. And she says that, she's the one who broke up things, and he was the one who kept having these affairs. They then bring up the incident at the couples retreat whereby you had Jay sort of mucking about with Sahara, and he brings up that, she was upset with me. She didn't want to talk to me. She confirmed that. And the mom was saying, you need to communicate how you feel, because he's never going to understand how you feel. As a person who shuts down like her, I get it. And I also understand the importance of communication. But at times, certain people want to shut down, process what they're going through, and then speak, because otherwise, if you speak in anger, you're going to say things you're going to regret. So I get where she's coming from. I think they really loved her. The aunt was smitten. The aunt really liked her. Hussein then had his brother and his cousin meet up with Rose and Angie. Rose reveals that she's been in 3 relationships as an adult. She's asked, do you have any relationship with your ex? She says no. Her ex is in prison. And Hussein was upset about this because it seems she didn't say anything. And it's really sad because Kiara, on her part, had owned up to everyone that her ex was in prison. So I don't know whether Rose saw this as a bad look and decided to hide her history. But I think it would have made more sense had she just told the guys that, this is my history. Take it or leave it. So Hussein was saying he feels some type of way about that, and he'll need to sort of have a conversation with her because he doesn't understand why she hid that. That comes across as dishonesty on her part. Angie then came in. She's got a 9-year-old son. With Rose's son, he's 17, so he's quite mature. He's quite grown. She says she has a very good relationship with her ex. They co-parent, and she is the last child in her family. And Angie's problem has always been she's used to being in charge, so she doesn't know how to relinquish control. And I said this before, I said Angie's a bit too much and she needs someone who mellows her, and it seems Hussein and Cam are able to do that for her. They're able to ground her, and she doesn't have to sort of feel like she's in constant battle. Seeing as she's one of about 9 or 10 children, it makes sense that she's always used to fighting for her place in the family or fighting to be seen. So having someone that makes her feel seen and appreciated, I think will be good for her. His family, Hussein's family, really loved Angie because what she said was the complete opposite of what Rose said. And sadly for Rose has been putting her best foot forward, that she's forgotten to sort of be her honest self. And in doing that, now the guys are starting to feel some type of way. And I remember when her ex was saying that, oh, she's this, she's that. And I said, there's something that she's hiding, that the moment that they find it, they're all going to be surprised. And here we are. Tay met up with Cisco and his sister. What do I think? I think Tay and Cisco are together by default. I think Cisco really loves Tay, but I don't know if Tay really loves Cisco. I think she's with him because she has no other choice. Because the sister spoke about, wanting her brother to walk down the aisle with someone. She wants her brother to get married. Tay then brought up the fact that she was worried about the instability, the fact that he didn't have a job. And personally, I don't think she's over that. Cisco felt some type of way. He felt blindsided because initially he tried to sort of speak to her in some sort of, was it Spanish or whatever Latin language he was using, so that, Tay couldn't understand what they were saying, and Tay had to call him out for that. And so for him to be called on that, the sister was saying, don't worry about, material things. He is gentle, he is kind, and he is hardworking. I don't understand what has caused him to be financially in the situation that he's in. I know he had a relationship breakdown and he had to move from where he was living with his ex, but still at his big age, he should have some sort of plan of what he wants to do in life. So I get where Tay is coming from, but then the problem with Tay is every time there's an issue, she runs away. She did the same thing with one of the other guys. Who was it? When she was questioned about not wanting children yet, and she ended things. We all remember with Khalil. So that's who she is. So I appreciate Cisco's sister telling her that you can't keep running away. You have to resolve issues. You can't say every time there's a problem, you take a step back. So hopefully this is something they work on. Cam then met up with Rose, Angie, and Sahara with his sisters. And this was Oaks Galore. Because they are 3 totally different people. I think Cam sees himself as someone who is a savior. And because he's in a protector mode, there are connections that he's kept around that he shouldn't have kept around. Sahara should not have been there, as far as I'm concerned. I am grateful that production have started to improve and work on her appearance. But still, she's not ready for a show like this. She's not. And so I don't get it. The girls were asked, how will you cope with his role as a fireman? You had, Angie saying she respects it because she's training to be a social worker, I think she said. A therapist, she said. And so she appreciates that. She talked about her role and what she does for a living. So the girls were very appreciative of that. You had Sahara. She's in healthcare. She's some sort of healthcare provider. And then you had Rose, who was a hairstylist. And once the girls left, you had the sort of cousin and niece sort of break down the girls and say they really loved Angie. I love Angie. I think she is who she is. Whatever it says on the packaging, that's who she is. I also love Sahara because she is who it says on the packaging. The problem with Sahara is she's a bit, she needs a lot of work. She needs a lot of etiquette work in order to get her to par with some of the other girls, because some of the things that she does are just, and you're always on your sort of nervous because you don't know what's going to come out of her mouth. The girls felt Rose was mature and was ready for a relationship, but they then said, Sahara reminded them of some of the people that this guy has dated, and they're worried that when they clash, there's going to be a big clash. Do I think so? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And so I was surprised when you had Cam go on a date with Sahara because you were saying, oh, my family thinks she's not right for me, but I want to have a conversation with her and see if we can reach an understanding and see if what I feel for her is genuine. I think he wants to save Sahara. I think he sees himself as Sahara's savior, and so he doesn't want someone who's better than him. He wants someone who he's better than, who he feels he can save, protect, and sort of help sort of propel into a better position. He sort of said, you had Sarah say, oh, I want kids, we both want family, we both are into fitness. I can also see where he's coming from in the sense that he's trying not to be a sort of a dad right on the spot by inheriting somebody else's child. But at the same time, I don't think Sahara is it for him. He brought her a gift of essential oils. She said she wants him to make a decision. and he said he needs to work on not being selfish. And I continue to say, in my opinion, Cam sees Sahara as a project. That's the impression that I get. He sees her as a project, something he can work on and improve and make better. And I don't know how long that will last. I have a feeling that, yes, there might be a physical attraction. Yes, there might be this thing of I want to protect her, I want to save her, I want to give her the opportunity. But long term, do I see it lasting? I do not think so. I really don't think so. So it's up to him what he wants in life. You had Rose meet up with Hussein because Hussein feels some type of way about the fact that he didn't know that Rose's ex was in prison. And Rose, on realizing that, oh, she's been called out and this is now a concern, she then started to cry, saying, I went through a lot with that man. I felt betrayed and I'm in a position whereby I'm trying to move on and move away from him. Hussein was saying on his part, he's concerned that if he comes out of prison, she might want him back or he might want her back. And she says, no, it's over between the two of us. So I'm ready. I've moved on. There's no going back with him. And I don't know. I really don't know. I think Rose, sadly, her biggest downfall was not being honest about her ex. Yes, she was honest about the fact that she was a single parent, but she wasn't honest about her ex. And maybe she should have spoken about that, because she was even asked that the person you introduced us to at family event didn't say anything about your ex, and she went, oh no, he doesn't know about my ex. My ex has been in prison for about 6-7 years and I really have nothing to do with him. And it's like, well, okay. So the guys met in the vault with Tommy. Tommy then asked the guys for an update in regards them introducing the girls to their families. First up was Jay. Jay said his family really loved Kiara. The only issue was his mom told Kiara that she needs to stop shutting down and she actually needs to communicate if she has any concerns or if she's unhappy about something, because that's how they can grow as a couple. Everybody agreed with that. Cisco on his part said, his sister really liked Tay, but she's worried that will Tay be around for the long haul, or is she likely to sort of turn away if anything comes up? Because Tay has already turned away. She turned away from Khalil because Khalil said he wanted to wait 2-3 years before having children, and that wasn't something serious. That's something they could have negotiated, but just the fact that he said that she turned away, she's already turned away before from Cisco, because Cisco said he didn't have a fixed job, he didn't have a car, he didn't have a house. So I can see her turning away. This is an ongoing problem that they will have to work on. Cam on his part said his family really loved Angie. They felt Rose was ready for marriage today, but they were concerned about Sahara in the sense that Sahara appeared or had the same traits as his previous exes. So there was concern that she might feel some type of way about, or she might behave in a way that's similar to his previous relationships. He said, he was good with that. He felt she was a rider and he was willing to give her a chance. It's like, Cam wants a project and Sahara is that for him. Hussein on his part said, he felt some type of way. His family really loved Angie when he expected them to love Rose, but then Rose revealed that her ex was in prison. And so this is something that had taken him aback and sort of put him off, it seems. And so it had stepped her down from being his number one. And so I don't know how that will come across. The guys were then asked that, so what's going to happen? On his part, Hussein said he was done with Rose. Cam then was encouraged to have a conversation with Rose and see if she was still ready to love or if that was over. And it's like, I don't see it going any further. Cam met up with Rose. I don't know. Rose, I think her true colors came out because he called her out that, you lied to us. You didn't tell us that your ex was in prison. And she then felt some type of way and said, oh, well, if you're going to say that, you lied to me as well, because I told you I was sharing a room with Hussein, but you didn't tell me that you're sharing a room with Sahara. I only found out after the fact. And so it became a tit for tat. And so I don't think she's as sweet and innocent as she presented herself to be. And once she started saying that, this is when the veil came off and Cam realized that he wouldn't be able to save her and he wouldn't be able to be the warrior in that relationship, in my opinion. So he told her she wasn't ready to love. Am I surprised? No. Sadly, Cam played himself, and now he's in a position whereby he's going to win by default, because by sending her home, the two of them him and Hussein cannot fight over Angie, which means he's now by default going to end up with Sahara. So Hey, kudos to him. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 10. Bye guys.